Are you dreaming of buying a home right here in Chatsworth, Georgia, but feeling a bit stuck looking at down payments and tricky loan rules? You probably heard of the USDA loans. You know that program from the Department of Agriculture? It's meant to help folks in smaller towns and suburbs get into their own homes. A lot of people in Chatsworth think these loans are pretty simple, maybe a little too good to be true. But what if I told you there's more to USDA loans than most people, even your friends and neighbor here in Murray County, ever find out? Some surprising truths that could save you a bundle and make home buying way easier than you ever thought. I am Josselin with eXp Realty, realtor on the northwest side of Georgia, including Chatsworth. If you're thinking of buying or selling in the near future, book a calendly call with me. It will be my honor to serve you and your family. So forget what you know for now. We're about to explore 5 surprising secrets about USDA loans that are perfect for you, the Chatsworth home buyer. Stick with me because what you learn today might just be the key to your new home. Secret number 1 is no down payment. But that's just the start. That's the biggest attention grabber. USDA loans offers 100% financing. That's right. For eligible Chatsworth home buyers, you might not need any down payment. Zero. Nada. So for many first-time home buyers, coming up with that 3%, 5%, or even 20% down is the toughest part of buying a home. Imagine just waving goodbye to that stress. This one feature opens up homeownership to so many more people in our community. But here's where it gets really exciting. That part people often miss, that no down payment deal, is just the beginning of the money saving perks. Did you know you can often roll most, if not all, of your closing costs right into the loan itself? Let that sink in for a second. Closing costs, which usually run about 3% to 6% of the home's price, can add up to a serious chunk of change. We're talking about things like appraisal fees, title searches, loan origination fees, recording fees, and more. So instead of shelling out thousands from your own pocket at closing, if the home appraises for enough, these costs can sometimes be a part of your total mortgage. This could mean you move into your new Chatsworth home with very, very little cash up front. And there's even more good news about closing costs. The USDA program lets sellers chip in up to 6% of the sales price towards your closing costs. That's a fantastic thing to negotiate. If you and your realtor can get the seller to cover most of these, it means even less cash you need at closing. Imagine your seller taking care of a big piece of those fees. Plus, and this is a huge for many families, you can often use local down payment assistance programs with your USDA loan. So even though the USDA loan itself doesn't need a down payment, if you qualify for a local grant or assistance, that money could potentially cover any leftover closing costs or even help you get a lower interest rate. The flexibility is amazing. It's all about cutting down those initial expenses and making it easier to own a home in Chatsworth. Secret number 2, income limits. It's a household affair. Now, this next secret often surprises Chatsworth homeowners, and it's super important. USDA income limits aren't just about your paycheck. As the borrower, they look at the total household income. That means the income of everyone who's going to live in the home, even if their name isn't on the loan. This is a really key point. You might be applying for the loan on your own, but if your adult child who works, or a parent, or even your spouse who isn't on the loan will be living with you, their income usually gets counted toward that household limit. The USDA does this to make sure the program helps people in the intended moderate income range to see if the whole household can comfortably handle home ownership. So what are we talking about for limits here in Chatsworth and most of Murray County? For 2025, the standard income limit for most of rural Georgia, which includes our area, is typically around $112,000 for a household of 1 to 4 members. If your household has 5 to 8 members, that limit generally goes up to $150,000. If you check other sources, they might say something slightly different. I found one that shows slightly lower standard limits of a little bit above 90,000 for 1 to 4 family members, and for 5 to 8 people it was around 120,000. So it's vital to check the specific USDA site for the most current numbers for your exact situation, as these can vary and are updated. These limits can be higher in pricier areas, but for Chatsworth, those are the general figures you'll see. There are some exceptions for certain kinds of income, like a minor's income or some disability benefits, but the usual rule is to count all adult income. Think about your own setup. Does grandma live with you and get a pension? Does your 22-year-old son have a full-time job and plan to stick around for a bit? Their income will likely be a part of the math. This is where a lot of hopeful buyers get tripped up. They figure out their own income, think they're good to go, and then find out the combined household income bumps them over the limit. The big takeaway here: get all your ducks in a row. Before you even apply, gather info for everyone who will be living in the house. That means pay stubs, tax returns, W-2s, and anything else that shows income. Being upfront and accurate about the total household income from the start will save you a ton of time and maybe some disappointment later on. A good lender who knows USDA loans inside and out can help you with this. But understanding this whole household rule secret that can really affect your chances. Now, secret number 3. Eligible areas are bigger than you think. When people hear USDA loans or rural development loan, they often picture faraway farms, wide open fields, and we have that here in Chatsworth, and houses that are miles from anywhere. And yeah, USDA loans definitely help folks in truly rural spots. But one of the biggest secrets is that what the USDA considers an eligible rural area is much broader than most Chatsworth home buyers think. Lots of buyers in and around Chatsworth might just assume their favorite neighborhood, especially if it feels more like a suburb, wouldn't qualify. But you'll be amazed. The USDA usually calls a rural area any town, city, or place with fewer than 10,000 people. But get this, places with 10,000 to 20,000 people can also be eligible if they aren't in a metropolitan statistical area and show there's a real need for mortgage options for low and moderate income families. Some areas with up to 35,000 people can also qualify on those special conditions if they used to be considered rural. So, what that means for you in Chatsworth and Murray County? It means a big chunk of Chatsworth itself and many nearby communities likely fall right into the USDA eligible zones. You don't necessarily have to move way out there to use this awesome loan program. Lots of lovely neighborhoods with very good access to shops, schools, and work might still qualify. In fact, for Murray County, multiple sources say there are no geographical USDA loan restrictions within the county, meaning eligibility is widespread. The absolute best way to know for sure is to check the official USDA property eligibility map. You can find it online, usually on the USDA Rural Development website. You can type in a specific address or just look around the map to see the eligible areas. It's easy to use and it's the final word. Don't just guess or go by old info. A property might be eligible even if it's super close to an area that isn't. I always tell people before you rule out a USDA loan because you think your dream home isn't rural enough, please check that map. You might be really happy to find that the perfect house in that quiet subdivision or the one just on the edge of town is actually in an eligible area. This secret alone could open a lot more home choices for you in and around Chatsworth. I have heard that all of Chatsworth qualifies for the USDA, but for best practice, I wanted to show you how it's done so you can check on your own for any address that you're interested in. Even if it's not in Chatsworth, it's better to check eligibility on their website. Secret number 4, no set loan limit, but there's a catch. Here's a secret that sometimes confuses people but can be a real plus. Unlike FHA or conventional loans that often have strict maximum loan amounts for each county, USDA guaranteed loans technically do not have a firm maximum loan limit. Now, before you start picturing a giant state finance with a USDA loan, there's a really important catch. Or maybe it's better to say a practical limit. While the USDA doesn't set a universal cap for its guaranteed loan program, how much you can afford is decided by your ability to repay the loan and your household income. Your lender will look closely at your debt to income ratio, DTI. That's how much of your monthly income goes to paying off debts. They'll also check your credit history and your overall financial picture. For USDA loans, lenders usually like to see a DTI ratio below 41% to 46%, though there can be some wiggle room if you have other strengths like a great credit score or good savings. So for most Chatsworth home buyers, the real loan limit will be what your household can comfortably afford based on these guidelines. It's not some random number picked by the government, but a figure based on your specific financial situation. This can be fantastic if you find a reasonably priced home that's perfect for you but might have been just a bit too expensive for other types of loans. It's also good to know the difference between USDA guaranteed loans and USDA direct loans. What I just described is for guaranteed loans, which are offered by private lenders and backed by the USDA. These are the most common type. USDA direct loans, though, are for folks with very low incomes and are funded right by the USDA. These do have regional loan limits. As of early 2025, these direct loan limits generally range from around $420,000 in standard areas up to about $970,000 in high cost areas. Though those higher limits are less common around here, for most Chatsworth buyers going for the more common guarantee loan, it's all about what your income and debt says you can handle, not a fixed government cap. That flexibility is a powerful, often misunderstood secret. Secret number 5, no private mortgage insurance, but there are fees. This is a biggie, a secret that can mean real monthly savings for Chatsworth home buyers. USDA loans do not require private mortgage insurance or PMI. If you're not familiar with PMI, it's an insurance that lenders usually make you get if you put less than 20% down on a conventional loan. It protects the lender, not you. If you can't make a payment, PMI can add a noticeable amount to your monthly mortgage payment, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on your loan size and credit. FHA loans have something similar called mortgage insurance premium, MIP, which also has an upfront cost and ongoing monthly payments. Now, here's the secret part that sometimes gets muggled. While USDA loans don't have PMI, they do have their own funding fees. But here's the good news. They are typically much lower than traditional PMI or even FHA MIP. There are 2 types of fees for USDA guaranteed loans. An upfront guarantee fee. This is a one-time fee, currently around 1% of the loan amount. The great thing is that this upfront fee can usually be rolled right into your loan, so you don't necessarily have to pay it out of your pocket at closing. An annual fee, this fee is currently about 0.35 of your outstanding principal loan balance each year. This annual fee is then divided by 12 and added to your monthly mortgage payment. Let's think about what that means. An annual fee of 0.35 is a lot less than what you might pay for PMI on a conventional loan, which can be anywhere from 0.55 to 2.25% or even more. For the FHA annual MIP, which is often 0.85 or higher, if you have a small down payment, that difference can mean saving a good bit of money each month and over the whole life of your loan. These fees help the USDA keep offering this amazing no down payment program by giving a guarantee to lenders. So while it's not totally fee free in this sense. The way USDA guarantee fees are set up almost always means a lower total housing payment compared to other low down payment loans that come with hefty mortgage insurance. This secret is all about understanding the real cost and seeing the big savings potential for your Chatsworth home. Now I have some common mix-ups that catch buyers out. Beyond these 5 main secrets, there are a few common misunderstandings about USDA loans that can trip up even smart Chatsworth home buyers. Let's quickly clear those up. Credit score wiggle room. While some lenders might be able to work with credit score as low as 580, for USDA loans, most like to see a score of at least 620 or 640 for the guarantee loan program to get the best terms and to close smoothly. If your score is a bit on the low side, don't give up right away. You might still qualify if you have strong compensating factors. These could be things like a very low debt to income ratio, a steady job with consistent income, good savings, a history of always paying rent on time for a long while. It's always worth talking to a lender who really knows USDA loans. Your main home only. This is a strict rule. USDA loans are meant to help people own homes in rural and suburban communities. So the property you buy must be where you live most of the time. You can't use a USDA loan for an investment property, a vacation place, or anything that's mainly for making money. Though some small home-based businesses that don't change the house from being a resident might be okay. Always check with your lender. If you don't plan to live in the home full-time, a USDA loan isn't the one for you. Possible funding hiccups. This doesn't happen often, but it's good to know about. USDA loans get their funding from the U.S. Congress once in a while near the end of the federal fiscal year, which wraps up on September 30th. The program funds get low before new money is approved. There can be short delays in getting the final loan approval or funding. Lenders who do a lot of USDA loans are usually aware of these cycles and can give you a heads up. It's not a common problem, but having a little flexibility in your closing date, especially if you're buying late in the fiscal year, can be smart. If this was too much yapping for you, here is a table with the requirements. And I would like to point out income limits are updated annually. Verify with USDA or local lenders for the latest figures. This is an overall overview of the loan. My biggest piece of advice for you is always work with a lender who knows USDA loans inside and out. They'll know all the particular requirements for Chatsworth and Murray County and can guide you smoothly through everything, helping you sidestep any potential problems. Double check your income eligibility with everyone in your household and make sure to check the property's eligibility on the USDA map before you get too far along in your house hunt. Understanding these little details can make your journey to owning a home in Chatsworth even smoother. Feeling a bit more in the know? Maybe even a little surprised by what you found today? Let me know if these USDA loan secrets for Chatsworth home buyers have opened your eyes to new possibilities. Do you have specific questions about USDA loans in Chatsworth or Murray County? Maybe something about your own situation. Book a calendly call with me. I'll do my absolute best to answer them or point you in the right direction. Buying a home is a huge step, but it doesn't have to be an impossible one. With the right info and the right loan, your dream of owning a home in beautiful Chatsworth, Georgia can definitely come true. Share this video with someone who is considering buying in the future. Thanks for tuning in. I am Josselin with eXp Realty, your resource in Chatsworth, Georgia.